Welsh rugby stands at a crossroads. Once a global powerhouse, Wales now faces a steep decline in performance, a talent pool that's really drying up, and grassroots that is in crisis. Add that to poor management from the Welsh Rugby Union, the WRU, and it's clear why Wales is struggling to keep up with the rugby's elite nations. Now, with Warren Gatland confirmed to continue as head coach for the 2025 Six Nations, there is a slight glimmer of hope, but serious changes are needed. So today we're going to be breaking down the causes of Welsh rugby's downfall, why grassroots and regional systems are failing, and what can be done to reverse this worrying trend. So in 2024, the Six Nations, Wales finished near the bottom of the table, showcasing just their lack of togetherness, fitness, tactical innovation, pretty much everything. The Autumn Nations also revealed similar issues, being inconsistent and their lack of composure, especially up against top-tier teams. Now, this isn't a new problem. So since 2019, Wales' results have just been going down. And what was once a feared team is now being seen as vulnerable. They had a strong showing in 2023 World Cup, but the cracks are deeper than what they would appear, and it's quite evident. Now, you look at the declining wins. So since 2019, Wales' win rate has fallen below 40% against Tier 1 nations. Right, you look at their poor domestic form in 2024, the URC, no Welsh region made it past the quarterfinals. Right, again, ridiculous. Failing in participation, you have grassroots rugby, which their participation is down by 20% compared to a decade ago. Poor management and governance at the WRU. I mean, the Welsh Rugby Union has really been at the centre of the criticism, and for good reason. They had a lot of mismanagement, short-sightedness, and a failure to modernise have really left Welsh rugby in what I would call a crisis. Right, so you look at their financial instability. The WRU has failed to create sustainable financial models for both regions and grassroots level. Contract disputes in 2023 led to strikes, which just shows even more mismanagement. And you look at their transparency. The WRU they faced backlash over openness and its plans and finances. Fans and stakeholders are they feel excluded from the decision-making processes, and it's really getting to people, right? You look at their leadership. Rather than proactively addressing challenges, the WRU have often responded to crisis only when they've escalated beyond absolute control and shit really goes wrong. So we look at potential things that could help the WRU. So they have to introduce centralized contracts for top players to ensure stability and reduce regional financial pressure. This model has worked well for New Zealand and Ireland, and changes need to be made. You got to bring in independent advisors to oversee reform, improve transparency. A professional review board could also ensure accountability across the board. So they need to be developing at least a 10-year roadmap focusing on regional success, grassroots participation, and elite player development. Right, it needs to be done, because you look at Wales, they were once known for its world-class talent. Welsh rugby is really struggling to maintain that same level of player production. With aging stars like Lee Halfpenny, Dan Biggar, they need to be focused on their next generation, and nobody stepped in to fill that void, right? So you look at why everything's shrinking. The underperforming regions, the 4 Welsh regions, Scarlets, Ospreys, Cardiff, and Dragons, they've really struggled to compete in the URC and European competitions. This lack of exposure to high-intensity games really puts a damper on their development. You look at the academy systems in Wales, they lack resources, and structure in Ireland and France is seen as promising, but players aren't being adequately supported or developed, right? Many top Wales players have moved abroad for better contracts and competitive opportunities. It's leaving domestic game far, far weaker, right? So we look at potential solutions. Again, revitalize the regions. So we have to invest in coaching facilities, competitive player salaries to make the regions way more competitive in the URC. and bringing that next generation through. I mean, they need to create centralized academies similar to Ireland's model, ensuring consistent high-quality coaching and facilities across the country. And then they need to look at stopping that talent drain. They need to be working with clubs abroad to create dual contract systems, allowing Welsh players to gain experience while remaining available for national selection. Right? I mean, I think this is something that's needed and needs to be spoken about. I mean, we look at the grassroots issue. I mean, no powerhouse rugby club can thrive without their grassroots system, and Welsh rugby is at its weakest here, right? Their declining participation, the lure of other sports like football has just been, too much, and like there's been a sharp decline in people not wanting to play rugby. Right, the facilities. Many communities lack the facilities to encourage players to actually play the game, and you look at the lack of investment. They focus a lot of their resources on professional rugby, neglecting the grassroots system that really feeds that national team. So they have one but not the other. Right now, we're looking at potential things that we can sort it out. The WRU have to allocate funds to upgrade facilities and provide free or subsidized rugby programs for schools and clubs. Right, there has to be more with the community as well. They need to initiate, they need to launch initiatives to reconnect rugby clubs, such as hosting tournaments, festivals, player meet and greets. Get them closer. Right, they need to expand the coaching education programs to ensure that every club and school has access to high quality coaching, because those are going to be the ones that bring up the next generation. Right, and now we look at Warren Gatland. Despite all the external issues, much of the attention is going to fall on Warren Gatland. His track record speaks for itself, but he faces a monumental task in reviving Welsh rugby. So I honestly feel the priorities for Gatland need to be rebuilding. He needs to look and identify the next generation of Welsh stars, but whilst ensuring a good mix between youth and experience. The tactics need to change. So he needs to adapt a more dynamic style to compete with the likes of Ireland, France, and South Africa, who are redefining the game at this moment in time. He has to start taking notes from these people. It needs to foster a culture of resilience and pride between the players and just create that thing of passion. One thing, you look at South Africa, they are passionate. They are passionate about what they do. So with Gatland being retained for the 2025 Six Nations, he has a chance to turn things around. But if progress isn't made, he's not going to be there for very long. Right? Honestly, I feel Welsh's problems are far deep-rooted, and it's not insurmountable. Change can happen, but it needs to be done now, from the top to the bottom. Wales has a rich rugby tradition, and with the right leadership, I honestly think that they can come back to where they were. Right? I really, really do. So they need to be overhauling the governing body. They need to be investing in grassroots system. They need to strengthen regional teams. They need to modernize youth pathways, give them more access, and they need to give Gatland more resources. Right? And the mismanagement of Wales shows everything on mismanagement. They are not being managed right. Too many people are getting paid for jobs that they are not doing, and it's showing in Welsh rugby. Right? So I don't know, this is something that honestly I feel if they keep going the way that they're going, they're going to keep declining and get lower and lower and lower, and it's not going to be beneficial to anybody, because then it's going to get to a state where the Welsh rugby is not even, a shadow of what it used to be. And they are a smaller size country, but that does not mean that they cannot produce top quality talent. They have the ability. They have the capability. They just need to invest. They need to be investing in youth. They need to be bringing the professional to the youth sides closer. They need to be building a bigger community between everyone, right? Because what is Welsh rugby without its youth? they need to be having top-level talent from their youth system, thriving under high-intensity pressure, playing against the best teams in the world, playing with the best players in the world, to be able to create a strong nation. So this isn't something that's going to happen in the next year, 2 years. This is something that needs to be changed now, and maybe within the next couple of years, they can start reaping the benefits. But this is something that it all takes time. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Maybe I'm talking absolute bull, absolute bull. Maybe there's a couple of things that you don't agree with, and everybody's got different opinions. I want to hear your opinions. I want to hear what you don't agree with. I want to hear what you think maybe I'm wrong about. Maybe you have an idea on what could be done. This conversation needs to be opened. Wales are too good of a team to be doing this bad, and it's so horrible to see them this low, right? Where they should be competing with the best. So let me know what your thoughts are. If you guys do like the rugby content, please like and subscribe, as it really does help my channel grow. And on that note, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.